Have you ever stopped to wonder why, no matter how hard some people work, they never seem to get ahead? They wake up early, fight through traffic, grind for 8, 10, 12 hours a day, and yet they're always broke. Not because they're lazy, not because they're stupid, but because they were taught to think like poor people. They've been hypnotized by a system designed to keep them broke. They were programmed to worship a paycheck, to save money in a system that prints it out of thin air, and to fear debt like it's the plague, while the rich are building empires with it. The truth? It's not about how much money you earn, it's about what you do with it. And poor people, through no fault of their own, keep making the same 7 deadly financial mistakes over and over again. When I say poor, I'm not just talking about the size of your paycheck, I'm talking about your mentality, a scarcity mindset. A mindset that says, I can't afford it, instead of, how can I afford it? That's the first mistake right there, but we'll get to that. Most people are stuck in the rat race because they've been following advice from people who are just as trapped as they are. Parents, teachers, media, they all preach the same lies. Get a job, save money, live below your means, invest for the long term in the stock market, and pray the government takes care of you. Well, let me tell you something. Savers are losers. Employees pay the highest taxes, and the stock market isn't designed to make you rich. It's designed to make Wall Street richer. If you want to break free from financial slavery, you need to understand what's really going on. You need to see money for what it is, a game. And just like Monopoly, if you don't know the rules, you lose. So today, I'm going to expose the 7 worst financial decisions poor people make, so you can stop playing the victim, start thinking like the rich, and take control of your financial future. Because the truth is harsh, but it'll set you free. From the time we're kids, we're taught to believe that success means getting a job. Go to school, get good grades, land a stable position, and then what? Work 40 years hoping for a pension that might not even be there. This isn't freedom, it's a trap. It's a carefully designed system that rewards obedience and punishes independence. Poor and middle-class people are stuck chasing paychecks, exchanging hours for dollars, and calling it progress. But that's not wealth. That's survival. The rich don't play that game. They don't work for money. They make money work for them. They build or buy assets, real estate, businesses, royalties, investments, things that generate income whether they're awake or asleep. They understand that time is limited, but cash flow is scalable. While the average person clocks in hoping for a raise, the wealthy are closing deals that create passive income for decades. The harsh truth is, a paycheck is the most addictive drug on earth. You feel safe, comfortable, in control, but it's an illusion. One recession, one layoff, one medical emergency, and it's all gone. That's why the poor stay poor. They stay loyal to a system designed to keep them just comfortable enough to never question it, just scared enough to never leave it. Financial freedom doesn't come from working harder. It comes from getting smarter. The moment you stop trading time for money and start building systems, the game changes. Wealthy people don't ask, how can I make more money? They ask, how can I create something once that pays me forever? It's not about being rich, it's about choosing freedom over fear. Stop being the one who works for money. Start being the one who owns what money works for, because as long as you're trading your time for a paycheck, you're not free, you're just surviving in a cage that looks like a career. Save your money, they told you, as if that advice was still worth anything. Back when money was tied to gold, saving made sense. Your dollars held real value. But in 1971, Nixon severed that link and everything changed. The dollar became debt, an IOU backed by nothing but political promises and printed paper. Today's money isn't wealth, it's illusion. Every time the Federal Reserve prints another trillion, the money in your savings account dies a little more, and you don't even notice it happening. Inflation is the invisible thief. You feel it when gas prices rise, when your grocery bill jumps, when your rent goes up. But your paycheck stays the same, and your savings, If you're still naive enough to have them, buy you less each year. That's the silent tax. And if you're still playing the save and be safe game, you've already lost. Your parents were wrong. Your teachers were wrong. The media is wrong. Savers aren't winners. Savers are losers. The rich understand this game. They don't save, they borrow. Millions. At interest rates close to zero. And what do they do with that borrowed money? They buy income-producing assets. Real estate, businesses, gold, oil. Things that go up in value as the dollar goes down. While the middle class stashes cash in a savings account earning 1%, the wealthy are building empires funded by cheap debt and protected by inflation. You think saving is responsible. It's not. It's a trap. A rigged system where your money rots while banks lend it out 10 times over and hand you back crumbs. If you're still hoarding cash, you're getting robbed legally, by design. It's not your fault you were lied to, but it is your fault if you stay asleep. The game has changed. The rules are different. The sooner you stop saving fake money and start acquiring real assets, the sooner you stop being a victim and start becoming free. One of the biggest lies poor and middle-class people believe is that owning the house they live in makes them financially secure. They call it their greatest asset, their proudest achievement. But let's get something straight. If it doesn't put money in your pocket, it's not an asset. It's a liability. That so-called dream home is quietly draining your finances month after month. Between mortgage payments, property taxes, maintenance costs, insurance, and the constant urge to upgrade or renovate, you're bleeding money just to keep a roof over your head. And don't kid yourself. If you stop paying that mortgage, the bank will show you exactly who really owns that house. You're not a homeowner. You're just a long-term renter with debt and responsibilities. But the system makes you feel good about it. Society rewards you for going into 30 years of debt. They hand you the illusion of wealth, when what you actually signed up for is a lifetime of payments. Now, look at what the rich do. They don't buy homes to live in. They buy properties that generate cash flow. Rentals, multifamily units, commercial real estate. They let other people, tenants, pay off the mortgage, cover the taxes, and fund the profits. That's the difference. Their property pays them. Your property costs you. People say, "But I own my home outright." Great. And what's it doing for you, sitting there? That's dead equity, a lazy asset. You could have turned that money into something that works for you, but instead it's tied up in 4 walls and a roof that give you zero return. The rich build wealth by owning real assets that produce income. The poor buy liabilities they were told are assets and wonder why they never get ahead. If your house isn't generating income, it's not building wealth. It's just a pretty prison with a mortgage attached. Debt terrifies poor people because they were taught to fear it. From a young age, they're warned to stay away from credit, avoid loans, and pay everything in cash. But that fear comes from ignorance, not intelligence. Debt is dangerous when you don't know what you're doing. But once you understand it, once you master it, debt becomes one of the most powerful tools for building wealth. The rich don't avoid debt. They embrace it because they know how to use it to their advantage. I don't work for money. I borrow it. I take on millions in debt to buy real estate, properties that generate steady cash flow. Then I refinance, pull equity out, and use that to acquire even more income-producing assets. All without paying taxes, all without touching savings or relying on a paycheck. That's called leverage. That's called financial intelligence. Meanwhile, poor people use debt to buy liabilities. They max out credit cards on clothes, cars, and things that lose value the second they're purchased. They take vacations they can't afford and finance lifestyles that keep them trapped in a cycle of debt and desperation. Then they blame debt for their situation, not realizing it was never the debt. It was how they used it. The truth is, there are 2 kinds of debt: dumb debt and smart debt. Dumb debt makes you poorer. Smart debt makes you richer. The banks aren't the enemy. They're the most powerful tool you're not using. They'll lend you money all day long if you know how to turn it into cash flow. But if you're scared of debt, You'll stay small, stuck, and broke. Avoiding debt is like avoiding fire. It'll keep you safe, but it'll also keep you in the cold. If you want to build real wealth, you have to learn to use fire without getting burned. Don't avoid debt. Study it. Master it. Because the people who understand how to use debt are the ones writing the rules and collecting the rent. Most people stay broke because they're too busy trying to look rich. They spend money they don't have to impress people who aren't paying attention. The newest phone, designer clothes, flashy cars, nights out, none of it builds wealth. It just burns through income and keeps you chained to the next paycheck. Poor people chase status. They chase validation. They want to be seen as successful, even if they're drowning in debt behind the scenes. And society applauds it. It tells you to spend more the moment you earn more. Get the upgrade. Live your best life. Flex for the gram. But none of that equals freedom. The rich live by a different rule. They don't spend to impress. They spend to multiply. They don't care what you think of their watch or their car. They care about what their money is doing when they're not looking. They buy assets. Real estate that pays rent. Stocks that pay dividends. Royalties that roll in every month from a book, a business, or an idea they created once. Their money works harder than they do. If it doesn't put money in your pocket, it's making you poorer. That's not philosophy. That's math. Every dollar you waste on something that depreciates is a dollar you could have invested in something that grows. The poor want to appear rich. The rich would rather be rich. And being rich isn't about showing off. It's about choice. It's about control. It's about not having to answer to anyone just to survive. Real wealth is quiet. It's not the guy shouting at the bar with his Rolex. It's the guy who owns the building the bar rents from. No flex, no show, just cash flow. If you're serious about getting ahead, stop buying stuff and start building streams. Because when your money starts working for you, that's when the real flex begins, and you won't have to say a word. Most people are taught to believe that having a job is the ultimate form of security. Show up on time, work hard, stay loyal, and the company will take care of you. But that illusion shatters the moment your boss calls you into a meeting with HR. One market downturn, one corporate restructuring, one illness, and that so-called security vanishes overnight. Your job is not freedom. It's a leash. You trade time for money, and if the money stops, so does your ability to live. The rich know better. They don't rely on a single paycheck. They build multiple streams of income that keep flowing no matter what happens. Real estate, businesses, intellectual property, stocks, dividends. Each one a pipeline that pumps cash while they sleep. If one slows down, the others keep going. That's real security. That's leverage. That's how you survive a recession, a pandemic, or anything the world throws at you. Poor and middle-class people think one job is enough. They hope for raises, promotions, or maybe a pension. But they're living off a single bucket, and every drop that spills puts them closer to disaster. The rich don't carry buckets. They build systems. They plant seeds in different places and let those seeds grow into cash-producing trees. It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter, once, and letting that work pay you forever. Depending on a job is like standing on one leg. You can balance for a while, but eventually you'll fall. And when you do, there's no safety net, just bills, debt, and panic. But when you have multiple streams of income, you stand on solid ground. You have power. You have options. You can walk away from toxic jobs, take risks, or rest without stress. One job will never make you rich. One income stream will never give you freedom. Build pipelines, not buckets. That's how the rich play the game, and that's how you win it. School was never designed to make you rich. It was built to produce employees, people who follow instructions, show up on time, and don't ask too many questions. From kindergarten to college, you were trained to memorize facts, pass standardized tests, and stay inside the lines. But did anyone ever teach you how money actually works? Did they show you how to read a financial statement, understand taxes, or use debt to build wealth. Of course not. Because the system isn't broken, it's doing exactly what it was built to do: create obedient workers, not financially free individuals. The irony is, the more educated someone is in the traditional sense, the more trapped they often are. I've met PhDs, doctors, lawyers, people with a wall full of degrees who are buried in student debt and terrified of losing their jobs. And I've met high school dropouts who own apartment buildings, businesses, and portfolios that pay them for life. The difference isn't intelligence, it's financial education. School teaches you how to climb the corporate ladder, but never how to build the ladder yourself. You're told to work hard, get promoted, and retire with a pension. But in today's world, pensions are disappearing, jobs aren't secure, and hard work alone won't save you. The rules have changed, but the education hasn't. Real wealth comes from understanding the game, how to use money as a tool, how to build assets that create cash flow, how to think like an entrepreneur instead of an employee. That kind of knowledge isn't found in a textbook. It comes from experience, mentorship, and asking the questions schools were afraid to answer. If you think a degree is your ticket to financial freedom, you've already lost. Financial education is what separates the free from the fearful, the rich from the stuck. Stop worshiping diplomas and start learning the rules of money. Because the classroom doesn't teach you how to win, it teaches you how to comply. And the world doesn't pay you to comply. It pays you to think, to risk, to build, and to lead. Most people stay broke not because they're lazy, but because they're following the wrong script. A script written by schools, banks, media, and governments that want you obedient, overworked, and underpaid. They taught you to fear debt, chase job security, save worthless paper, and spend to impress. They never taught you how to play the real game, because if you knew the rules, you wouldn't need them. The difference between rich and poor isn't luck, it's knowledge. And more importantly, it's mindset. The rich ask different questions. They think differently, act differently, and build differently. They don't rely on one stream of income. They don't worship a paycheck. They don't buy liabilities disguised as assets. They build systems. They use leverage. They let their money and their mind do the heavy lifting. If you're still living paycheck to paycheck, still saving for someday, still hoping the government, your job, or the market will rescue you, wake up. The cavalry isn't coming. No one's going to save you, and they don't need to, because everything you need is already in front of you. This isn't about being a billionaire. It's about freedom. The freedom to walk away from a job you hate. The freedom to spend time with your family. The freedom to sleep at night knowing your bills are paid whether you work or not. But it starts with unlearning the lies. It starts with rewiring your mind and replacing the 7 worst financial decisions with smarter ones. Trade consumption for creation. Trade fear of debt for mastery of leverage. Trade formal education for financial intelligence. And trade survival for strategy. You weren't born to be poor, you were just taught to be. Change the way you think about money, and everything else changes with it.